Hello, everybody.
Howdy, everybody.
Hola.
Trying to
Amigos.
share all the things.
Yeah, I'm doing that
Yeah.
right now.
I just like copy and paste it and then like leave it to hit send and then just hit send.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice.
Like the
Today's gonna be a
Wowzers,
fun one, man.
Wowzers in the
Wow.
title.
Yes, we have so much to discuss tonight.
Dude, so much stuff. Not all MCOC stuff, which is kind of cool. This is gonna be one of those fun nights where we can talk about the game, what's new, and then kind of take a direction outside of the game, which is exciting.
For
Now,
sure.
I quickly wanted to pick everybody's brain with a question. I would like to do these once in a while, and I thought this was a good one to start with because I notice it's happening faster and faster. Now, Jay, I know you're not actively playing very much right now, so that's a really good perspective for this. So I'd love to hear what you're going to think too. And then with KBU being free to play, I think your opinion on this is extremely valuable too. My big question is, how do you feel about the rollout currently of 7-star champs and how they're being introduced through initially? We've been seeing quite a bit within such a short period of time. The amount of 7-stars rosters grown significantly, and we've been getting more and more starting. I believe it was Civil Warrior was the first one of the new batch, and then all of a sudden, all these new crystals come out for these different events and different holidays, and they start throwing more and more 7-star champs at you, and then moving them into different crystals. But that's how they've been expanding the roster, as opposed to, every month introducing maybe 2 new ones. I feel like maybe we're on track to still be having a little less, but I feel like if this keeps going at the rate we've been going for the last few months, we might reach a point where we're looking at, more 7-stars coming in within like a 3-month period of time than 6-stars being introduced. So I just want to know what your opinions. Did you think it was maybe necessary, maybe a little over aggressive? Are you happy about it? What's your thoughts?
So I think the amount of champions that are being rolled out is fine because they're not releasing any god tiers. Like we don't have Doom or anybody coming soon. So the amount of characters I think is fine, but I think if we kind of zoom out and look at a little bit, and we're looking at how they release 6-star champions, I remember having 6 stars for what felt like, realistically it felt like years, which that's just me being dramatic. But
it was years. It was years.
So was it so from the time 6-stars released to become Paragon, was it more than a year? Because I remember like rank 3 6-stars, I was like, shit, this is taking forever.
So and then 6-stars were actually out a really long time, but that's mostly because 7-stars were supposed to, I believe, come out probably 2020. What? I believe they were probably on track.
Around that time, yeah.
But the pandemic happened, which threw that all into a rush. Everybody stopped spending, and if they were spending, it wasn't cool for them to be hyper aggressive to introduce a new major way to spend money in this game. They were getting so much heat during the beginning of the pandemic for any deals that came out. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but that's actually when they started throwing out energy compensations just for fun and little bits here and there to just give us stuff to do because we were all stuck at home. So we were given 6-stars for longer, though. That was a thing.
That was like that ramp. That ramp is what I feel like with 7-stars. Like the amount of champs we're getting in 7-stars is fine because the game is still growing. So we're still getting 2 champs a month every month. Which, sidebar, if we could just take a month off and fix this stupid black screen with dust and like just fix some of the bugs, please, and then the community will be happy. We can jump right back into it full steam ahead. Thanks, Bam. Yeah. 6-stars took forever to hit Paragon, and to get like those rank 3s, it felt long and drawn out. And then 7-stars, I feel like they dropped like, I don't know, 6 months ago. I really don't know the exact date, but we've already got rank 3s. We're Valiant, and then I feel like the 7-star ramp was much quicker than 6 stars, which kind of leaves a lot of this Everest content. Like in 3 months, exploring Necro is probably going to be worthless because 8.4 will be out. We'll have this Winter of Woe or whatever the next one is after that. We'll have the new thing coming out with Legacy and Karate Mike and those guys. We're gonna have so much more like Everest content that where everybody's gonna be Valiant by then, and it's kind of like exploring Necro had a very small window that I felt like when Abyss dropped, it was drawn out, and people were exploring Abyss for ages, and then Necro it's just like, have fun, boys, for like a month, but next, it's gonna lose its value very quickly compared to how 6 stars ranked up, I guess, is my opinion there.
I know that. I think that's part of the plan. That's why my show's in there as a 7-star. It gives the long-term value, much like the same reason people. Yeah, it's the same reason people go into Labyrinth, right? Like, there are still people out there going to work on exploring Labyrinth. I have a plan to do it. I only did my first. Yeah, I want Labtron. Yeah. I just want him. There's no reason he's not good. I want him. I want to ascend him just because. That's it. And, I think that's the point of Necro is... I think that's kind of what the plan has been for a few years now, and I think that's good, right? Like, the ramp up of content. Like, we went through dry spells with just begging for variants and this and that and not having new content for a while, and now... Yeah, it's a lot, right? Like, it feels a little overwhelming at times, and you got to do your BGs, you got to do this, you got to do that, and then yes, this month I'm overwhelmed. I won't lie. It's a short month, it's a busy month, and on top of that, new timed content, 2 weeks per fight is a long time, but also. I don't have a ton of time. I don't have a ton of time to be able to do extra stuff, especially grinds and like really trying to smash my face against the boss. But these are big rewards, so I definitely think that your point's very valid there. I think that the speed up of content has definitely there's definitely an acceleration with what we're getting and what we need to be able to be competitive, and they've definitely opened the floodgates in that point. I think 100%.
What
do you find that intimidating?
I actually like it, which is kind of selfish because I was already at 8. I whaled for years and then went free to play last year, mostly free to play. I still get the sigil, and I'll drop $5 to $10 here and there, but nothing compared to prior years. But being that I had already done that and kind of put myself like I was already almost Valiant anyways. And then just explore Necro. So I was kind of at the top of the list as a free-to-play. So the faster we want to ramp it and have me staying competitive with big old whales like Null and Beaton and you guys, I'm perfectly okay with it. I see a lot of other people complaining that it's too fast and like leaving others in the dust. I personally don't experience that because I was already kind of, not up there, but I was high enough where I can stay competitive. If I'm in BGs and somebody gets a bad hand, I'm probably going to kick your ass. But so yeah, I'm personally okay with it. It is not intimidating, but I've got ally mates and like other people that I interact with in the community, like on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and a lot of people have voiced their frustrations that they're getting left behind, and it's just
definitely, yeah,
they're just getting further behind the faster this ramp accelerates. But selfishly, I'm perfectly okay with it. So keep it going, boys. I need more rewards.
Christian in the chat, he says free to play KB.
Who was it?
It was Christian.
Christian Garcia.
Oh, Grim. Yeah, mostly free to play. Those are my quotes.
I mean, it's everybody's thing. Everybody can pick how they play, and like if I remember when you'd spend, and I would say for what you say you're spending now to what you spent at one point. Yeah, significant reduction. Not as you said, you never spent like I or other people will spend, but you definitely would whale out for holidays and stuff. And if you've tiled that back, that's completely cool. Like everybody gets their own thing and does their own thing. And if I wasn't such a collector, I would fully embrace the free to play. But I know who I am. Jay, what do you feel about this as someone who's kind of out of the meta right now?
Yeah, I've been out of the meta for like the last year. I haven't played Battlegrounds in a year. I haven't played competitive in a year. I do feel like I am getting left behind, but I felt that way, and that's kind of why I stepped away, because I felt like I was missing so many top tier characters that I felt like I needed. It just took more resources to make up for it, and I wasn't willing to spend that much to make those resources. And with the limiting of revives, and then just the meta changing, it felt like I fell out of the loop, and so I just decided to step away and not play as much. And that also feels like I want the game to take away from that direction, because I feel like that is intimidating to get back into it, because now like the longer you're away from the game, the longer in that mile keeps being stretched out on how I have to catch up on. I'm still Paragon, I'm Paragon, I'm not Valiant. I could probably become Valiant. I don't have the resources now to do it, as in to upgrade the characters to that rank. But I only have like 10 7-stars. But I don't do any monthly stuff. I don't do anything, so yeah, I wish they probably would have slowed down 7-stars, but I guess like I definitely understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Does it change it for you at all in any way to know that at times they do I'm sorry, I just got a random message. Does it change anything for you to maybe think to hop in, to know that like at times they offer, if you haven't played for X amount, you get like a free this and a free that? Does that feel like it would be a motivator?
Are you talking about like the Iron Man calendar that they had a few months ago, or is this something?
There's been Iron Man calendars. They've been random times where Rich has it on his videos a lot, where randomly people will send him and be like, he'll do some looking in and be like, yeah, I guess this is something they were doing, where if it was like that.
I don't qualify for those because I still log in almost every day, and especially claim those Twitch Prime rewards.
Oh, definitely. But if they gave you something that recognized that you weren't doing content, but kind of gave you something that went hey,
if they had something like that,
let me give you something, teach you a little bit.
Yeah, and especially a lot has changed in the past year, because I was trying to graduate college, so I was spending all my time on doing that. I just got a job now, and it's a stable job, so there's definitely room for me to go back into it, and I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. And so if it changes for the better for me, I'm excited. If it doesn't, then we'll see. I'm just kind of waiting at this point and trying to get comfortable with.
I bet. Do you think it's enough of a motivator for the for the person in your position also, though? Like, do you feel the pull by like getting a login reward to get in and do 3 BG fights, like get like a login calendar that pops up? This new calendar they did is really cool, and I've seen them other games do similar things, where they'll pop up like some requirements, and if you do them, they'll give you rewards. So maybe they give you like a checklist of things for like some quests for a week, and at the end of that you get a 7-star because you're coming back and you're a Paragon and they want to help you get to Valiant. So do you think as a player who's lapsed, would that motivate you to embrace the game a little bit more again?
Wow, I'm actually in the stockpile. I would. If MCOC was my own focus, like I play a lot of other video games that I've been putting so much time into, which that's been my main focus outside of this. But stuff like that definitely interests me. I like games that have those type of reward system for logging in, for doing challenges, stuff that's easy. Stuff that's more difficult, I'm gonna stay away from just because I feel like I'm not prepared for that yet. But yeah, stuff that's easy and like. I'm not. I'm in an alliance. I'm in Jim's.
Yeah.
Stuff. So I like. There's definitely room that I can push to get those easy challenges out of the way, and if it was a good reward, I'd do it.
Very cool. So Coco, how about you as the intermediate between like you've got a smaller roster than KB, I believe, because you've never wailed like me or him. So what do you feel like? Have you felt like your roster has been holding you back in any way? Like you've done a necro run, you're, I would say like you're in my alliance and you do amazing. Like you do really good. The officers we're always talking about how happy we are with performance and your mentions. So there's no complaints on that. So do you feel like in any way your roster holds you back? Do you feel like you're being left behind by like the way they're offering these deals with the 7 stars, or do you feel like they have been more generous for the lower spenders or the people who aren't spending, that you've been able to stay more active?
Well, I know that there is a focus from Kabam going forward of shifting stuff being more content based. I know that's something that they're striving for right now, and I think lately the rewards have been pretty solid.
I would say so.
And even I don't have a problem with stuff because I do something that it feels like a lot of the community has a hard time with, which is I understand that not everything in the game is for me. Not every deal is for me. Not every piece of content is for me. Even the way they roll out certain things may not necessarily be for me. And I think that
It's respectable.
I think that if more of the community understood that, things would go a lot better. I've had this conversation a lot. I won't use any names, but I've had this conversation a lot with some other content creators about some of the other content creators. And sometimes it feels like the top tier players feel like all of the decisions should be catered towards them because they're the ones that spend the most on the game and they're the ones that are the top tier players. And so if a deal or something that gets rolled out doesn't cater to the top tier players, then they're like, well, it sucks. And I'm like, well, it's not for you. Like there are other people that play the game and y'all are, a percentage of the players that play this game,
I totally agree.
And we see that
really well
we
said.
see that because people like the top tier players and the content creators and stuff are the ones that are on Twitter talking about the game constantly and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we saw with Summoner's Choice, like, all these people were talking about Blob, but the people that were voting for other people, And that's because the vocal part of the community is only a fraction of the community. Just like the top tier players is only a fraction of the community. And so, like, not everything is for everybody. Like, some stuff is for beginner players. Some stuff is for lower skilled players. Some stuff is only for the most skilled players. Like, I gotta be honest, I don't know how many points I'm gonna get in these seasons of whatever it's called, Winter of Woe and Autumn of Agony and whatever else they're called. Like, I don't know how many points I'm gonna get in those. Like, I tried the Absman fight, 3 or 4 times, and I got 5% on my best run, So I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna get that one done. I don't know if I'm gonna get any of them done.
It sucks.
It's a tough fight. And the thing is, like, people were complaining about it in the CCP Discord, and the developers were like, well, we just want to remind everybody, this is supposed to be in-game level content. Like, not everybody's supposed to be able to complete this fight easily, And I think that's important to remember is that sometimes we think, oh, well, I couldn't do the fight, so that means the fight design sucked. Or that means they did a terrible job designing the fight. And sometimes it just means you're not ready for it. Like, you're not good enough at the game. Like, and yeah, that sucks to say I suck at the game, but the reality is that you might not have enough skill to complete something, Like, so I have, on my roster, I have some of the champs that people were like, well, you can do Necro with these guys. Okay? Like, I have Kate. I have Zemo. Like, I have Zemo at rank 5. Karate Mike went in Necro and Rec Shop with Zemo. I used my rank 4 Aegon because that was the easiest way for me to do Necro. Like, and maybe one of these days I'll run it with Zemo and maybe it'll be fine, but like, the easiest way for me to do it was with Aegon, because he's just ridiculously overpowered in in-game long-form content like that. He just is.
Me too. I did.
And so, you know, and so, you know, like, the reality is that not, like, when you have a game like this with a massive player base that are all at varying levels, nothing that is ever released can be for everybody. Like, there are different things for different, like, that's why there's, you know, what is there now, like 5 or 6 different EQ difficulty levels. Like, that's why those exist. Like, if you're not good enough to do the top one, then you try the one below that, and if you're having a hard time with that one, you go down. Like, that's how the game works. Like, I remember when you know, this is going back years now, but like when I first got Uncollected, I remember the first month, the first boss in 1.1 of EQ was, I think it was a Deadpool X-Force. And I couldn't beat him. Like, I got through the easy path on Uncollected EQ, and that first month I was Uncollected, I could not beat the boss of the first quest. Like, that was as far as I got. I got through the path, and then I could not beat the boss. The next month, I got through the first quest, or first chapter, I think. I got through 1 and 2. Could not get through chapter 2 and chapter 3. You know, and then the next month, I finally got completion on a whole EQ in Uncollected. And, like, that's just how the game works. Like, I'm pretty sure the first time I did Thronebreaker EQ, when it became a thing, I don't think I fully explored it the first month, because I just wasn't there. Like, I didn't have the right champs ranked up. I didn't have, you know, my skills were a little rusty for whatever reason. Like, but I've added on to those things, and now I can do those things. Like, I still have never done an Abyss run, ever. Not even a completion run. But I did a Path and Necro. You're not missing anything. You know? And so, like, well, and that's what everybody said. They were like, no, just skip Abyss and do Necro. Like, it's way better. Yeah. And so, like, that's the thing. Like, I could have been like other people and said, like, well, I'm behind because I never did Abyss, but, like, you know, you just heard one of my Alliance people saying that there's no complaints about my play in my Alliance, but I never did Abyss, you know, and so, like, there are things that you don't have to do, or that you may not be ready to do, and that doesn't mean that anything, really. Like, you know, it's just how it is. Like, not everything in the game is for every single player. There are different things for different people. That's the cool thing about the game. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, some people have every variant explored and every quest, and, like, I still haven't. I've explored one variant. I explored the fourth one that has the star restrictions, because it was really fun and really cool, and you got to use, you know, lower star characters that you hadn't used in a while.
That one was fun.
And I'm pretty sure that's the only one I've done, and that's fine. I've got champs.
Don't do them. They're, at this point, don't bother doing them. I mean, maybe story something.
Read the story, though.
Hey, I've said story, but otherwise.
Oh, I've gone back and done classic difficulty on all of them and read the story and stuff. Cause
I can completely relate to that, though, in a major way. You know, before I was anything or talking or even knowing that there was a Twitter community, I found, you know, I was bored. I was playing a different mobile game. I was bored. I was looking for honestly, I was just looking for somebody opening some crystals. I just wanted to see somebody opening something and getting excited, or being disappointed. And I found everybody's favorite person opening crystals. I found a Seaton video. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Seaton video. I'm like, I used to play this game. So I re-download it, and I think I was at the fight, it was at the end of Act 3. I just had done, like, one line through. It was very short. I barely played. So I went back in, and I ended up getting all the way to Uncollected on my own without anything. Just watching Seaton play and going, like, oh, well, this character's fun, and trying to figure things out. Like, he talked about how good Thing was, and I got Thing, and I was like, I'm going to use him. And I figured my way out. And then I started watching and learning more, and actually built my roster up. And I remember I pushed. I pushed for Cavalier. We were coming up on Cyber Weekend, and I pushed. I became Cavalier, and Cavalier was the highest rank at the time. I was like, yeah. And then immediately after me getting Cavalier, I mean literally the day after, they announced Thronebreaker. And I'm like, oh no! And how do you get Thronebreaker? Abyss. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to be Thronebreaker. And I just wasn't. And I waited and I waited and I waited until, different content. And, I wasn't always whaling. So, I mean, I waited doing content. And actually, I didn't really start whaling until I was Thronebreaker. I think that was when I actually started doing something, because the value wasn't there. But I waited because I just kept going in and trying the fights and I couldn't do it. And I kept going, and then finally one day I'm like, I'm on the 5th fight of this lane. I think I'm doing this now. Like, I think I can do this. And I started pushing further. And it's okay for not everything to be, like, I'll never be the top rank in Battlegrounds. And honestly, most months I don't actually bother doing it or even getting it to the Gladiator. Like, I haven't right now. I don't know if I will. And I haven't in so long. I'm back in Bronze. So, like, I'm all the way back down. So it's just, you do what you can do. You find time you can do. And I think that's, makes a lot of sense, Coco, like what you were saying there with the whole, when you're ready for it, it'll happen. And I think there's just a lot of, because it's a mobile game and because there is that option to spend money on certain things, people want there to be an I win button. And there just isn't a general I win button. Otherwise, there'd be no point in playing. Okay, just go buy your 7-star that you want, level it up, and play it. That's a different game, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a different game you can play.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's really interesting though, and I really appreciate all your opinions on this, because it's just something that I've been wondering about with being someone who's willing to spend, and at times does spend significant amounts of money to I see a new crystal pop up and I'm like, ooh, Invisible Woman's not in any of the other pools. I'm going to try to get all these so I can try to get her, because that's cool. It's such an interesting... I'm so interested on what other people look at it, where they go, oh, another one I'm not going to have maybe. Because I also think that too, because after I don't get her, which happened, I go now, okay, well, now I don't have her and everybody else does. So there's that. I at least have the opportunity at times while other people may not, and I just wonder what their thoughts are about that, about the introductions, and if they do feel like they're falling further and further behind, which it seems like to some extent yes, but to other extents no. So it's just a really interesting. I hope that they do look into a way of picking up more lapsed people who are just kind of stuck in that in-between period where they just don't have a reason. If they want to come back, they just don't have a good enough reason to like do more than just grab the login calendar,
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say, when we get a 7-star featured crystal, right now my FOMO has almost been completely eliminated, and I'm okay with that. I accept it and I'm comfortable with it. But when they release freaking 7-star featured crystals, the FOMO will be real, and I will do exactly what you just explained, Noel, like you with Invisible Woman. When they start releasing those 7-star featured, and I open, I save for months, and I open 5 of them at a time, and I get the 5 biggest duds in the crystal, I'm going to snap my phone in half, and I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah.
So I think FOMO will come back, but right now I'm comfortable with it. It's okay. Yeah. But I can see it's on the horizon, and I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Speaking of featured crystals, I am saving my 6-star shards for the new 6-star featured, because the pool is spicy.
Yeah.
Nice. I have one I want. I'm missing 3 6-stars, and one of them is living in that crystal, and I will have
Onslaught.
her, and then
Onslaught will be in there, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I think Ironheart will be the last the last new one that will be in the featured. So.
Yeah.
I'm just missing
I
Chi,
believe.
so once I get Chi, I'm set.
Guys,
No
we
gold
are
program.
we had 30 minutes, and Bart asked a question real quick. He says, "What do you guys feel about the Summoner's Choice? And do you think it'll return next year? Because some people were, I guess, heated about the winning, thinking it's rigged or something."
I think we'll come
They
back.
say that every year. They say it every year.
As I say,
I think
anyone whose choice didn't get chosen, that's their first thing. It's just like in real life with politics. Well, if my candidate didn't win, then it had to be rigged. So
I'll answer just bluntly. I'm thrilled with what happened. I hope that we see. I hope we see a few of the other ones who didn't get voted in. Black Tarantula would be a really cool character. I would love to get him in there, and I think there's a lot of cool stuff they can do. I'm really happy that she won, though. I'm super excited, and I definitely think it's going to come back because
I think so.
Will. It's just a.
I think they said they showed an interest in it coming back.
Every piece of conversation on Twitter or any place where they're talking about it is media. It's a place where someone's going to go, "Oh, what is this they're talking about?" You know, people aren't going to stop playing the game because their vote didn't get in. You know, so yeah, they'll keep doing these.
Any press
Ruby
is good
Tuesday,
press.
rest in peace.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. They mentioned that why so many losers have came in. It's because they wanted to fill. They wasn't necessarily about bringing in losers like on purpose. It was more about filling in classes, and they'd be like, "Oh, we need a mystic character. Let's bring in Kushala." So that's pretty interesting, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of like filling class spots in there. Like, hey, let's just bring back Ruby Tuesday. Let's bring back Black Tarantula.
Exactly.
So definitely excited. So absolutely gonna return. Definitely think so.
I got a question for you guys.
What's up?
And I think it'll be a great topic. What did you guys think about that Deadpool trailer?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
All right, real quick before we dive into the trailer, I saw a question in the chat about the featured crystal. The pool should be the new champs. Should be Chilth, Kushala, Onslaught, White Tiger, Bullseye, and Ironheart. So as far as new champs, that's a pretty spicy pool right there.
That's all I need, baby.
You know, you never know.
Honestly,
You never know who the older ones will be. So buy at your own risk.
You get Onslaught, you win.
But yeah, Onslaught's in there, Bullseye's in there, Chilt's in there. It's pretty spicy. Pretty spicy pool. So
I hate to do this, but one last question before we hop over, just because I've thought about this before. Do you think we'll ever see Unstoppable Colossus be moved out of the loyalty store and moved into a crystal?
That's what they did with Punisher, right? In Deadpool.
Punisher has been available.
I mean, they
now
did finally make Punisher available in other places, but
so
maybe so.
No.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Interesting.
He's a buff first.
Yeah, if they buff him, I would have an opinion. But for right now,
yeah.
As the owner of a duped Unstoppable Colossus, he's not great. But
speaking of Colossus, he was in the Deadpool movie.
There is a synergy team. There is a synergy team where he's not like the worst thing ever, but it's a lot of
really
pieces.
good with Red Guardian, and Red Guardian just got big buffed. Like I have a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to talk about Red Guardian soon, but
the thing about the synergy team, the thing about the synergy team that makes Unstoppable Colossus semi-decent is that all the pieces you add to make him semi-decent are all way better, so you would probably just use them anyway. So
really good,
because it's Juggernaut, Red Guardian, Colossus, like you would just use those three guys anyway. So I mean,
absolutely.
Anyway, but Colossus is hanging out with Wade and many others. So, spoiler alert for all you people that don't watch movie trailers, which I found out there's way more of than I realized. But so if you don't want to know, then stop listening because we're not talking about this. So
there will be this. We will be talking about trailers and discussing them in depthly. And if that's not something, well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. And see you for the rest of the,
and now,
the rest of the podcast.
And now we should talk about everyone that was in the trailer, because holy crap.
Dude. Oh my god.
Take us to school, Jay. Hit us with those notes, bro.
Okay. So obviously the trailer starts, right? It starts with Wade celebrating his birthday, surrounded by his friends from Deadpool 2 and 1 that some of you remember dying, but Wade post-credit scene went back and changed that. Maybe that's why the TVA wants him, who knows. So, Negasonic, obviously there. Shatterstar is back. He's not dead no more. I think it was Yuki was there. Peter's alive, which is awesome. And while he's celebrating his little birthday, the TVA knock on his door and abduct him. So, very interesting. A different TVA, I want to say. They look very different than Loki, if you guys have seen season 1 and 2.
They're
Very different.
Yes, definitely different outfits. More futuristic looking.
Yeah, definitely. So. Absolutely. He's basically recruited by a guy named Paradox, which is such a badass name, guys. You guys remember Ben 10, Professor Paradox? Like, come on.
Cool.
He was a judge what was it? He was with Mobius, and then is Mobius in the future? It's very weird in the comics. We don't really need to get into that, but it feels like he's Mobius's replacement, right? If you that, or he's handling a different branch than Mobius, which would explain why everything looks different. Like with the way Loki season 2 ended, I think you can kind of assume this is like it's very different part of the TVA. And yeah, so it looks like he's recruited. He's showing the new Marvel Universe, the MCU. I mean, it's so cool. They're showing him shots. Why are they recruiting Wade? We don't know. But they're recruiting him, and then you kind of just see him suiting up in this beautiful new suit made by the TVA. Very comic accurate. I gotta say, I love the bright red, the iconic belt insignia, the little Easter eggs on his guns, like they have inscriptions on it. Like watch the Flash when right on the magazine or on the barrel, and then it's so cool, man. He looks great. And then you see him in the Void. You see Deadpool in the Void fighting TVA agents. You see Pyro from The Last Stand, X-Men Last Stand and 2. Are you kidding me, guys? Anyone else recognize him?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. It's Last Stand. But no, it's. He's not in Last Stand. He's in the second one.
Yeah, well, he's...
They don't actually... He was not in Last Stand.
What? No, wait, what?
Yeah, because he's there with... when he teams up with Mags when they go to... whose house? It's Rogue's house. And then they
I know he's in 2, but I know he's in 2. I know he's introduced in 2, but I'm pretty sure he fights Bobby in 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when he fights Bobby. He's 3. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I've kind of put
I've seen 3 like a million
kind of
times.
put Last Stand out of my head.
Right.
So
honestly, you're probably right.
I had these movies on DVD when I was growing up, bro. I was watching these like 24/7, man.
Jay actually right, guys.
Yeah, I will rewatch it this week, and next week I will tell you were right happily.
Wear the shirt.
Well, I want
to.
It's been so long since I watched the original 3 that I don't like. I've got everything all jumbled in my head. I'm like, I don't remember what was from the First Class movies and the old movies and the new movie. It's all jumbled in my head at this point.
Yeah, it's Last Stand. I looked it up, but you guys got it. You can fact check me.
The important part is that Pyro is there. That's the important part.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I was watching with my dad and my brother, and I was like, dude, it's Pyro! Like, they even subtitles confirmed it. I was like, dude, I was like, it's crazy.
Does he fit in a mutant spot right
now? Well, so the mutant spots, with maybe, I mean, technically he would, where we have Mystique on the map, if you want to put Pyro on the map. So, something to think about. But not every mutant that they tease in, like, the narrative roadmap is going to fit on the map itself, so... Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
So, another Easter egg, which, Nola, you're going to love this. Pyro as well, which I want to get into in theory crafting after this. They show the back of someone in a white suit with an eye patch.
Yeah.
They sure did.
There's some cool stuff coming up.
They show Patch.
There might be Patch, and I might have called Patch like a while ago that Patch was going to be there, and I am so excited for Patch. Patch is, and they have introduced back the country before too, apparently, because I didn't know, but I was seeing something recently that it's called Madripoor. I believe it's called Madripoor. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I believe
Falcon
that
Winter
Madripoor was
Soldier.
introduced. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been already introduced.
Yep.
Now, I saw a weird thing, though. Do you think it's going to be
A different actor.
this universe? Well, do you think? I mean, I do. I think it's going to be a different actor. The way
And then
he's
be the
sitting.
616 patch.
Yeah. Do you
Or the
guys think
MCU
that's
patch?
the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the rumor was it's our boy Harry Potter.
I was seeing that. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it, dude.
Bro,
Yeah.
they've been fan casting. They've been
fan.
fan casting Radcliffe as Logan for a long time, and as far as
Radcliffe
being
and,
like comic accurate, he actually is more built, like he's size wise better suited for Wolverine.
A short, grumpy Canadian.
Yeah, I mean,
Taron
I
Egerton
think
was the other one, right?
Yes.
I think Radcliffe
both.
can pull it off, man. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I really
Either
think he
one,
could
I think
pull
would
it
be
off.
great.
I think he's been
I'm
ready
really excited.
for it the whole time with the last few movies Radcliffe has done. What's the one where he's got Akimbo? Akimbo
Guns
is
Akimbo?
literally it's literally the gun version of Wolverine. So I mean, he's
So
there.
funny. That movie's so random.
Yeah. Our Swiss Army Man's also really messed up.
Swiss Army
A
Man.
good
That's
movie.
one where he rides his buddy like a jet ski.
Where he is the buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's the dead guy.
I just
the whole
remember I
movie.
was like, did I eat some shrooms before watching this movie? Like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Movie. Yeah, it's a good movie though. I recommend it. But yeah, Patch is gonna be there, guys. That's so exciting.
Yes, dude. So if anyone doesn't know what Patch is, basically it's Wolverine undercover. He went to Madripoor to get information, and so he couldn't be Wolverine with his claws out. He had to be someone no one would suspect. So what does he do? Puts on a white suit and an eye patch, and gets some nice little information for everyone. So a very cool callback to comic fans, and obviously an established Madripoor. Not only an established Madripoor, in She-Hulk, you guys remember a man with claws in a news article on the internet? So to say it's an MCU Wolverine could definitely be a really good option.
Yeah.
And we see Deadpool as well, still in the void. So we see, I think, Thor Ragnarok pieces. So you see, you see.
We saw him
Cassandra Nova?
Possibly, yeah. We also saw him fighting
Yeah,
in a snow-covered forest with TVA agents that looks suspiciously similar to the motorcycle scene from, is it Winter Soldier?
Age of Ultron.
Or is it Age of Ultron? Yeah. It looks like the same exact forest. Like I saw somebody put it side by side today, and I was like, oh, yeah, that looks like exactly the same one, so...
Dude, it's either that or it's like the Logan Forest where Logan dies.
Yeah,
because
that's
they have the same vehicle turned over.
Yeah.
Either one of them, dude. It's gonna be.
Yeah, either way, that's great. I love that he. So when they're showing him the clips of the MCU movies, he just slowly salutes.
Yeah, salutes Cap.
I like that he had hair
Dude,
in the beginning at his birthday party.
I know, that was so funny. I was like, what's going on? Why did he get
wig
hair?
falls off. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you didn't get he was Ken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was messing up his perfect life.
Yeah.
Funny.
He was Knuff for a moment there.
Dude, it's
I haven't
so
seen
funny,
that.
dude.
I just know the words Knuff.
But I'm super
I haven't
super stoked.
Yeah.
So I finally, over the last few months, I had never seen the two Deadpool movies, and so I finally watched them both. And after I watched them, I was like, well, now I understand why everybody's been so psyched about Deadpool 3, because this could be amazing. Like,
it's so good, man. Like those movies. I was a huge fan of Deadpool before, but when those movies came out, he was being so mainstreamed. Like, oh man, I remember when the test footage got leaked. Back in 10 years ago. I remember when that leaked on YouTube, and I was watching. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're actually doing this. And then that movie came out several years later.
Is there anyone better than Ryan Reynolds to be Deadpool? Like he was born to be Deadpool, right?
Dude, yeah, dude. Like that's
insane. There's a reason why we were all so upset when they butchered him playing Deadpool in Origins. Because
he pulls it off.
Because he's perfect. Like
the mark with the mouth off. Cut it off.
The initial introduction of him as in the Wolverine X-Men Origins.
Oh yeah, when he first when he shows up is perfect.
I sat in the theaters and I squealed because in my brain there was no one better. The guy who played Van Wilder is going to play the merc with the mouth. The wacky, smooth talking, ridiculous guy, and the way they intro him, literally talking about how he doesn't shut up. He's making these jokes that nobody else is laughing at, but the audience, I'm laughing at, because they're all jokes that a 10-year-old's gonna love, which is obviously my sense of humor. So I'm gonna love that, and
he's
watch
perfect.
it and
he really is.
He's perfect. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, what do? They take the merc with the mouth away.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Speaking of random aside, have y'all seen Free Guy? Have y'all seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I was not expecting that movie to be when I saw the trailer, I was like, well, that looks pretty fun, but it's so good, it's so funny.
He has to fight Jack Reynolds at the end, and then Captain America's like, hey, he's got the shield and
it's fantastic.
There was a lot of fun in that movie. I like him. I'm excited for the new movie he's doing with Krasinski called Big. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Yeah.
If. I gotta see that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was called Big. Figment. I thought it was supposed to be.
I think that might have been the working title or something. It's called If.
Yeah.
But it's about imaginary friends. Yeah, it looks fantastic. The cast is crazy. There's tons of people in that movie.
Dude. My dad told me to watch the trailer. I need to watch it.
Yeah.
It's good. It looks really good. I didn't have that on my. I did not have on my bingo card Jim from The Office being a really good filmmaker, but he's pretty solid.
He's knocking it out the park.
A new Quiet Place 2 is coming out.
Yeah, it's
another one. Huh?
Yeah, it's a prequel. It's about how the world how it first started, where everybody had to be quiet or whatever. It's called Day One or something like that.
Again, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. We got some good movies coming out, and there's another thing that we just found out about, and it's coming out next year, and the same month, by the way, as the new Superman movie.
Oh yeah, okay. But I do got some Deadpool stuff to find out before we go over real quick.
Oh no, definitely. Okay, let's go back to that then.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to mention that they show, because we were talking about before the show about Doom. They show the Secret Wars comic with Doom on the cover, just next to a bottle that Mr. Stan Lee drunk himself in Incredible Hulk. So at the end of the trailer, before we get the Wolverine in his full comic accurate suit, which is really interesting. That it just seems like this movie is setting up for Secret Wars, 100%.
I think so. I definitely think so, but I think it's going to be a slow grind.
Well, I think everything coming up is setting up for Secret Wars, isn't it? Isn't that the big thing that's coming? So.
Dude, they're gonna pivot. They're definitely. I think those points they really wanted to focus on the Kang Dynasty, but they're taking a step back and being Secret Wars is definitely their true direction right now. It felt like Secret Wars was going to be a fallout of the King Dynasty, and now it's going to be totally going straight into it, which is pretty awesome. Just because I love Secret Wars, I love the original. I love the 2015 Secret Wars. I mean, Doom and Mr. Fantastic is just such a big part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because Majors is out now, right? So basically,
Majors
Yeah,
is
they're looking for a new
Kang.
actor.
Straight to Doom, baby. Let's get it.
I will say,
When
I
is it?
had seen King I'd seen Majors at the end of Loki season 1. I hadn't seen the season 2 yet, and I hadn't seen anything else. So I will say that I haven't been able to judge him as an actor beyond the little bit I get of him not being King, but being
When are
He Who
these?
Remains, I believe, was who he was in that.
It doesn't
And I will say that I really
it
hope
doesn't have a date on it.
that they don't just throw King away as a character. I hope that they do invest at some point in a recast, and they don't just take that character away, because he is so incredibly cool and such a really awesome character. It'd bum me out if they skipped him, but Doom is so exciting, guys. Secret Wars is so exciting.
Jonathan Hickman.
I think it's next week.
I'm here for it.
Just find out.
Everything he does, I buy at this point. If his name is on it, I buy.
Did you say that you didn't see him in Loki season 2?
No, I haven't seen season 2 yet.
I don't know, bro.
Goodness.
I'm gonna start watching everything soon. Once we've got a rhythm down, I'm gonna start watching stuff soon and giving you guys my hey, so
That's
I just
fair.
watched this, and this is what I thought.
So here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Hold it
Sorry, I
off,
had
getting you into
parenting
it.
duties. Here's the thing. They're not throwing Kang away completely. Like, there's no reason to, because they're doing multiverse stuff and Secret War stuff. They can just have somebody else be Kang. Like, there's no no reason to throw him away. Like, which sucks.
No, I hope they don't, because he's
It
a
sucks
passionate name.
because I
just
love
hope
Jonathan Majors, but he had to go and be a dum-dum, so we gotta throw him away.
he
And
was
that's,
a dum-dum.
you know, that's not Marvel's fault. I
You guys,
don't have a problem
guys
with
see,
Marvel doing it, because apparently he was a dum-dum.
No.
So, you know,
Yeah.
but which sucks, because I love the dude. Like, he's such a talented actor. Like, I loved him in the Marvel stuff. I loved him
saw
in
Creed.
Creed. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But, you know, apparently he was a dum-dum, and so, you know, they had to do what they had to do. That was, you know, it is what it is.
What
Yeah.
were you gonna say, Andy?
I was gonna say, if you guys haven't seen it, I discovered Majors personally in Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, I was
Was
gonna
it-
say that.
Yeah,
Dude, oh my god, that was a
So,
great show, and I was like,
I
this
haven't-
guy is amazing.
I haven't finished it yet, but I have seen the first, like, 2 or 3 episodes, and it's, yeah, I really liked it. I just had never finished it.
No, you're cutting
but-
out, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, something like that.
All right.
Better?
Sorry. A little bit. Sorry, you were talking over Coco, and you were cutting out at the same time, so I couldn't hear either of you.
Well, I think I'm lagging a little bit. Let me try to adjust this.
Yeah, it's definitely still laggy.
Yeah.
Which
Happens
I
sometimes.
did see Legacy pop into the audience for a half second, so you know maybe that's why you're lagging.
How's it sound now? Are we back?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
now,
He-
it's
bro.
not normal.
He popped in and was like,
Fantastic.
"Oh, these guys are lame. I'm leaving." And
So on Kang, I don't know if you guys have seen the 2 actors they're looking to recast. One is Coleman Domingo. He's from the Fear the Walking Dead and a few other projects. And the other one, which I love him, he's really great. And the other one is Abdul Mateen, I believe that's how you say it. The second, he plays Black Manta in the newest Aquaman. And
oh, okay.
Ooh, I like
that guy.
Yeah, I like
he played
that.
Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen
Yes.
show. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
I like him.
Absolutely.
Dude,
He's
he killed it
solid.
as Dr. Manhattan.
dude.
I mean,
I love that
I
show.
will say I wasn't huge on any of the DC EU stuff, but Black Manta, I haven't seen the new Aquaman movie, but I will say from what I heard, that man was not given enough of his due, because he should have had way bigger of a role in the first one and this one. He is fantastic. That was a well casted character, and Manta's supposed to have that animosity, and he really had it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love
That's the
to
main
see
thing.
him as Kang. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
love to see him as
I
Kang.
really
That
liked
kind
him
of
as Manta in the
darkness
first one. I
was
haven't
great.
seen Lost Kingdom yet, but
Dude, it's fun.
So-
It's fun.
Yeah, I've heard it's really
if you
fun.
we all love comics, so like we're all. You
I
guys
I liked the first Aquaman. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like
I didn't. Yeah, Aquaman was fun. Aquaman was fun. That was one of the few things, like one of the few DCEU movies that was fun.
yeah, I thought Aquaman was fun.
The second one
Wonder Woman was fun too. The first Wonder Woman was really fun. It was all
and that's all I liked. All right, moving on.
yeah.
Just those 3 movies.
All right, we're almost at
no,
9 o'clock already.
Yeah.
Just those 3.
Yeah.
Black Adam was
Yeah.
fun. It's ridiculous,
They made
but it's
other
fun.
movies? I didn't know they made other DC movies.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. Although I would
Does-
have been interested to see it.
What all counts as
More-
a DCU EU movie? Like,
So
what
it's
all are we
everything from Man of
counting?
Steel? So it's everything from
Man of Steel to
Aquaman 2.
the newest Aquaman. Yeah. To the newest
Okay,
one.
so
And that's the end, right? And then we
That's the
restart.
end.
I'm trying to think.
But Batman
I'm trying to
and
think about what
Joker
I've seen
do not count.
of those.
Oh, and then the Batman and Joker are different.
Yeah, they don't count.
I'm saying like we're not
yeah.
talking about like the Nolan versus Batman movies. Those don't count, right?
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah,
those
no.
are-
stuff
those are
after
free.
that. Okay,
Those
cool.
are free.
I'm trying to think. So, Wonder Woman was
You're
fine.
talking, you're talking 2 different types of Suicide Squad.
The
Talking,
okay, the
Oh,
newer
yeah, I did like the newest Suicide Squad.
the newer Suicide Squad movie is fantastic. I loved that movie.
with Cena. Yeah, I heard it was.
Dude,
fun.
And Peacemaker,
Peacemaker.
that show was great. So good.
Watched that
Oh,
opening.
God.
I've never
Uh,
seen that show, and I've seen that opening like 8 times.
The opening
I've
is one of the
seen the show.
greatest
I've
things
watched it.
ever in the history of television.
Yeah, if I scroll by it on Twitter when it was on there, like people were posting it everywhere. If I saw it, I would watch it because it would be
Hey,
the same thing
season
as if
2
it was on
is
television.
getting worked on right now.
Yeah.
Season 2's in the
Yeah.
Somebody was asking Gunn about if they were going to have an awesome intro for season 2, and he's like, well, I'm not sure. Most of those people are dead, so like,
Okay.
So, speaking of James Gunn, he told us that the new Superman movie will be coming out next year,
Mhm.
and as I mentioned earlier, there's another movie that's coming out.
Yes, sir.
We just found out the cast for. It'll be coming out the exact same month. And all I can say is Zaddy is home, guys. Pedro. Sweet Pedro.
Pedro Pascal.
Sweet Pedro.
I'm thrilled. I
Papa.
think that every part of that casting is exciting. I am not overly familiar with Vanessa Kirby beyond Hobbs and Shaw, but I thought she was great with like whatever she was given to do in that. I thought she was fun. She's very cool. I've watched her do interviews and I've looked up a lot of stuff since like I saw the announcement. I think she's gonna be fantastic. I'm super excited for Benji's casting, and as someone who hasn't seen the 3rd season of Stranger Things, I
Don't
have no
you
opinion
say
about
it.
Human Torch. I have no
Joseph
opinion.
Quinn? Oh,
I have
Yeah,
no opinion. Are we happy?
bro, when he starts cranking out
Yeah.
Master of Puppets, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this fucking guy is it. That's
So
my
is
dude.
Is this your Johnny? Is this?
I
Chris
have
Evans
heard.
He's
replaced
really fun and like
I love it.
eccentric.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm still on season 2 of Stranger Things, so I haven't really seen a lot of Eddie yet.
He's
but
the life.
God.
He's the life of season 3.
But people
He's so
do not stop talking about Eddie Munson. So I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's
myself.
coming, and
I'm there.
I'm excited for it.
When I mentioned it to
I-
the wife, she said, "Ooh."
Yeah.
So
Same thing. I told my wife, I was like,
apparently-
you see this? And she's like, oh, I like him.
Yeah.
apparently Vanessa Kirby is on that Netflix show The Crown about the royal family of England,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I don't watch that, but I saw a lot of people that have watched it that had a lot of good things to say about her on The Crown. And I
She's
saw
also in a lot
I saw
of-
pictures on IMDb of
Yeah,
her, and
yeah.
she looks like Sue, which is more than some of the other people
Yeah,
that have been
she
cast
looks
as Sue. So that she's got that going for
Very
her.
pretty.
Once
Yeah,
I
she's
actually
very pretty. She also
knew,
has a dainty look, which is nice.
once I looked him up and realized who it actually was, super stoked about the Ben Grimm casting, because by name I didn't know
Love
who it
it.
was. But when I saw this, the guy that played David
Sure.
in The Punisher, I was like, okay, I'm in. Let's go, because he's awesome. I like him a
Micro
lot.
baby.
Yeah.
I just, I
His
was-
cousin.
Other than the fact that I don't necessarily like when people get cast as multiple characters in the same Marvel or the same cinematic universe, but I'll allow it because he's awesome.
Semi-connected.
No, it's all connected now.
No,
Did you not see
I know it's all.
Did you not see the new timeline from Disney Plus? Everything's canon now. It's wonderful.
So but I agree. Like it is a little weird,
It is, but
it's not
like
it hasn't happened before.
Yeah, it has. But I think the thing we need to talk about though is that the multiverse is real because Pedro Pascal has his own multiverse of nerd franchises now. Bro. Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's the Pedroverse. We're just living in it.
Last of Us, Mandalorian. Like,
let's see.
Collecting.
Let's just go through all of them real quick. Game of Thrones, Last of Us, which is the PlayStation fandom, Star Wars, Marvel,
Narcos.
Oh yeah, he was in Narcos too, wasn't he? I totally forgot about that. So like, he's literally just Moon.
Every fandom.
Yeah, it's
that crazy ass meme where he's driving around Nick Cage and they're in the car. I forgot what the name of that. Oh, that was the movie about Nick Cage.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Which, if you have not seen that movie, go watch that movie. It's so good. It's fantastic. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen because it's meta and it's like, it's not a comic book movie, but it's like watching a Deadpool movie or something. Like, it's so self-referential and
if anybody was going to make a movie like that, it'd be next.
It has to be.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like, it's literally perfect. It's so good.
All right, guys. I wanna pivot and talk about this painting that they did for Valentine's for this movie, announcing the casting, being very 1960s themed. You see, the magazine from 1963. You see, you see Ben actually in a NASA astronaut outfit, looking like the Apollo program. So very cool to see. You see Sue and Reed in like an actual Fantastic Four outfit. Like, again, NASA theme with these like lines, these simple lines. You see the F4 logo on Ben's helmet on the astronaut outfit. You see Herbie. I mean, I'm excited to see Herbie. Just, that's so cool. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, Strange did mention, that little like music Easter egg of the Fantastic Four, and it actually seems like that's going to be paying off because we're going to get some type of 60s themed Fantastic Four film.
I'm very excited for that. Yeah. I think that the idea of them being introduced like that really makes sense. And also what it does is it gives them lasting ability. One of the ways they've gone away with sometime, like, until they've had to do major restarts, some of the ways the Fantastic Four has been allowed to exist without being aged when it has been commented is because the rays, the cosmic rays have messed up their aging, and they age slower and all these things, and nobody really shows a sign of aging. And you look at Reed in future universes, and he doesn't really look much older. Granted, Reed wouldn't look old if he didn't want to look old. But I just think that gives it lasting power for the introduction going forward. They'll be able to last into modern periods like that.
Well,
just
and
all that cool stuff.
What I'm curious to see, if you are a history nerd and you like to look up old stuff, the painting they did it literally looks like a 60s like magazine ad. Like it literally looks like something out of a 60s magazine. But what if the way that they're introducing them to the time, because like it would be weird, right, that they haven't been around at all. Like, we're talking about the first family. Like, what if the movie starts in the 60s and that's like when the Fantastic Four forms? And then, like, when they go to space, they get, like, sucked into something or somewhere. And then, they get spit back out in, like, present day. And that's why nobody has seen them or heard from them. And then, like, it's like the fish out of water type
kind of
thing.
stuck
So, like,
in the
first
616.
Yeah.
So like first Avengers style, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
The end of it, they wake up in 616 or whatever that is.
Yeah,
the
because
MCU version.
and here's the reason why I say that, and I hope that maybe that's what they're doing. I know that they're doing multiverse stuff, but I don't want it to just be explained with, oh, the Fantastic Four are from a different universe or a different reality or whatever, because that's just lazy. Like, to me, it would make more sense, like, if they were this team that, like, people knew about, but then they disappeared and nobody really... Or, like, if they had just been, they haven't mentioned them, but maybe between now and then they could, like, talk about these astronauts that disappeared, there was these astronauts that disappeared in the 60s or whatever, and then, like, in the Fantastic Four movie, maybe we find out that it was them, and then, like, they just show up, or maybe they show up in the end credits of one of the other movies leading up to the Fantastic Four movie or something, like.
I was thinking like we're a lot, like the main theory is it's the negative zone, like maybe they're obviously privately funding, and that way it's not NASA related. Only Ben worked at NASA. Like, if you know the story, right? He he's like doing this privately, and the people like don't want to do it with him, so he gets gets Sue and her brother, and they get Ben to be their pilot. And then they go and they making the fastest light shuttle, I think is what it was in the comics, and then to find life on Earth, and then the cosmic rays happen. So if they find the negative zone, that can lead into like Blue Marvel, Annihilus. Like, there's so much stuff this movie can set up, being like in the 60s and then moving to a modern. Because I feel like this is going to be totally an establishing movie. Like, with this 60s themes, it has to be an establishing movie, which I'm really excited for.
I have a completely different take, and this will be my prediction. And I think it's a very completely different. But I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Kaijus are really back. And
Kaijus,
I did, yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with early Fantastic Four villains, but one of the things that came to mind when I saw the poster is the time period, all that. They could definitely introduce an early character and explain away them not being around with the introduction of Mole Man. I think that might be a possibility, because where were they? Oh, they were on Monster Island, and that's where he builds his laboratory, because he's trying to figure out how to cure them. And then something's going to happen where they're going to be needed or whatever. I think that would be interesting, because it's an early villain. It will deal with you could deal with discrimination to some extent, which is something that they would probably love to dip into, but they don't like going all in, which is an interesting. I mean, that's what they do for marketing and what they can do to be able to make some kind of statement without losing a huge portion of their market, I guess, which is unfortunate. But I think it'd be very interesting. I also think it does capitalize on the fact that they fight larger than life villains more than anybody else in the comics. Their villains are always much larger. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I think Mole Man and Annihilus, like, I wouldn't want Annihilus, like, but like, yeah, man, Mole Man would be an easy one to like throw in the beginning. It's hard to like think, because like I think they are gonna do, like, they're gonna move to the modern day and then fight someone or something. But it's like hard to, like, it's so weird because it's a whole universe now. Like, we kind of don't know, like, when will they show up? Like, are they showing up before the Avengers? Or are they showing up currently? Like, who are they fighting? Are they gonna? There's so many options.
Back in time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, Namor could be, showing up now that they have the rights back to him. I mean, he already showed up before.
Psycho Man.
He's okay. That we did have an uncomfortable discussion earlier, but I believe we found out that the guy who played Namor was exonerated from the accusations that were against him, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, they were.
Just wanted to confirm that. I mean, that's
that's
that
good
really
to
good
know.
to hear.
It'd be awful to lose 2 people for things like that. So glad to hear that.
It's just terrible to know that those people would be. Yeah, it would suck because that's just not something you want to know about anybody. But also, it's just terrible for that to happen.
True.
Yep. Very exciting.
But so exciting to get a casting because we've had so much fan casting and rumors of casting and stuff. So to have an actual cast is awesome. Do you think we're getting Victor, or do you think they're gonna hold off on Victor? Like, cause he's integral. He's integral to Secret Wars, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're gonna have to establish him at least.
yeah. So.
They're gonna do like some type of introduce. Like Noah was talking before the stream about doing the roommate and
Which we didn't talk about. There's a guy in the Deadpool trailer that some people said looks kind of like Dr. Doom, and I'm like, no, that's not Dr. Doom.
They're blind. They're blind.
I don't know who that is, but it's not Dr. Doom, other than color scheme. But but
I saw Comics Explained posted that after the trailer in the Super Bowl, and Rob got fucking roasted on his own post, and everybody's like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, if they even got Rob, then I could see how a lot of people." It was a pretty Doom-esque mask.
I mean, it's definitely. It's definitely a guy in a green hood with a metal face, but like.
Yeah. If the trailer's going fast, I get it.
Yeah.
If anything, that could be something that's supposed to make you think that, and
true.
It absolutely is there for you to think that, to go, we know what you want. So it's a nod to us.
Yeah,
it's not that. Like, at the same time, it just isn't that, unfortunately. Would have been really cool, but yeah, they're going to introduce them.
Well, and I
think we're going to get him later.
I could even see, like, Deadpool making, like, a Dr. Doom joke about that guy in the movie. Because, or like a fourth wall joke about that guy, specifically referencing that,
Or like, you think this guy's bad. Wait till you see the guy he's imitating or something like that. Like,
something cheeky about it for sure.
We are definitely gonna get. I think Doom will show up. I think Doom will be. I think Doom is going to be, as I said to Jay earlier. I think he'll be introduced as someone who's been manipulating things behind the scene, and I think if we do get a Doom, I think. Max hit it on the nose earlier when he said on Twitter that it'd be funny if we got Kristoff. I think there's a better chance we'll get a Doombot or Kristoff before we ever see the actual Doctor Doom on the screen. I think we'll get a Loki-esque kind of character, which will be a Kristoff or a Doombot or someone who is regularly working with Doom, which we'll probably have a list coming up as we continue to think on all these theories and ideas as time moves forward towards these movies coming out. But I do think we'll be introduced to Doom, within the decade, but I don't think it will be within the next like 2-3 years for sure. Even with them speeding up the speed of it, I think we'll get other characters before, definitely.
Yeah, I guess I can agree. I think at least I definitely think there'll be like a fake out ending before we get Secret Wars for sure. Oh sure, absolutely.
Could it be Secret Wars from the 20
OG?
The OG Secret Wars.
Do you remember
when 2015?
When they invaded Latveria and they shut down all who was the girl who was running it before Doom took it back over? And then she came back, and they had the whole Secret War thing about that. Like, that could be what this is leading towards, a more S.H.I.E.L.D.-esque. Because Fury's in it, right?
Which one is it?
You've confused the lore master. The lore master is stumped.
Well, I'm trying to think. Because, like, when I think of the chick running Latveria, I think of the cyborg lady.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's her. Before she became Cyborg Lady, she became Cyborg Lady because they invaded and destroyed her castle, basically. Like, took down all her advanced tech because Fury didn't like what she was doing. And then she got mad and got vengeance, and that's when everybody was like, oh, Fury's not a good person. And, like, that's when everybody stopped doing the covert stuff for him, and that was during the whole fall of Fury. And who's Fury in the comics right now? Is it his son who's the recognized Fury? Or they just dropped the junior on him?
I don't know who's Fury. I think the Fury's still the guy who's chained up. The original Fury is still chained up.
He's still chained up?
Lucia Von Bardis. That's who it is, Bart. Thank you.
Yes, her.
Always forget the name.
I think that might be our possible first, intro into the whole Latveria and Doom-esque stuff. We'll see, like, Doom bots and stuff, and I think that as that goes, it will explore more into it, but I think he'll always be in the end of the whole thing. I think he's our Thanos. He's our Thanos he's a villain that doesn't have to go away. The next one after him is Galactus. Like, you don't get much bigger than Doom, and technically some would say Doom is bigger than Galactus.
Yeah. I was thinking, and I might be getting ahead of myself. Well, actually, I know I am, but I was thinking about Galactus while we were having this chat about Fantastic Four, and we'll have to skip ahead a little bit, but I personally would be very happy if we get to see a certain, maybe Franklin Richards make Galactus his herald in the MCU on the screen. Would be amazing.
What character do I hate the most again? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, his least favorite character. Yeah.
But dude, you gotta admit, when he summons Galactus as his herald, is legendary, bro.
I said I like adult Franklin. I just hate the kid Franklin. That's what it is.
Fair. Woof. I actually just got some goosebumps talking about the damn scene where
if they do Franklin correctly, that would be so cool. I mean, there's a Silver Surfer project. They said it's in the works. Like, it's not official yet.
The most comic accurate way to do a reboot would technically be introduction of Franklin Richards, introduction of Onslaught, reboot of the whole universe through Franklin Richards and Onslaught's storyline.
Yeah, I think Secret Wars would be cool, though.
Oh no, I mean, they can definitely do it through that. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's a comic accurate. Franklin Richards does a good thing, but he's a kid kind of moment. It's one of the few. There's so few.
Yeah. All right, lads. We're at an hour and 20 minutes.
We should probably.
I think you guys want to wrap up here?
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up for this week. We can always chatter next week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we should be getting close to a gaming week, doing some tabletop Marvel. So I'm excited for that.
It's coming up very shortly. Yeah.
As soon as I am prepared
stay tuned, everyone.
To do so, I need to do some prep work still, but
perfect. I'm in my account, so I'll have to...
But it will be coming. We will be running Marvel Multiverse session, hopefully once a month once we get into a groove. But I got to do some prep work still as the narrator of the sessions. So
Dungeon Master.
It's a narrator.
Yeah, you're the watcher for us.
Basically, that's basically kind of how it is. They call it the narrator instead of a dungeon master, since there's not really dungeons per se in Marvel Multiverse.
Yeah.
But, so the rule book calls it the narrator. But well, all right, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. Jay, do you have something you want to say? Share?
Yeah, I was gonna say Madam Web came out tonight, so next week we'll cover that. Just so everyone knows.
Okay, real quickly, I probably won't watch it, but
I'm not gonna watch
I saw the trailer today, and I gotta be honest. I watched the trailer today. I saw it came on when I was watching something else, commercial on TV, and it looks so comically bad. Like, I'm not holding out a lot of hope for Madam Web. It looks real bad.
We'll have a fun discussion about it.
Yeah, we'll have a fun discussion. And
so-
I'll be the one who watched it, so I can just tell you what didn't happen.
I'll probably watch it.
I mean,
I'll
I might give it the old college try to get to the theater and watch it if y'all really want to have an in-depth discussion about it. But
I'd like to skip everybody before we end. One last thing to do
what's up?
about this trailer we're discussing. Please go watch it and pay attention to a part of the trailer where she's running to the car, because the way it's cut in the trailer, Dakota Johnson is rescuing herself from the car. It's a wonderful, beautiful.
There are rules of cinematography. It's a rule. You should never do a cut. That ruins the line of sight. You should never do a cut. That's not one of the top rules in cinematography. I hate it.
I think one of the rules in cinematography should have been Sony should not be making live-action Spider-Verse movies. But we can have that discussion.
To keep the rights.
We can have that discussion later. But
yes,
all right,
definitely.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all for joining us. We will catch y'all next week. And thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Love all of you.
Yeah, love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy day, everybody. Bye.